Hello guys, so welcome back again to a new session on APIs and API design and testing. So this time we are discussing about the gRPC. So there is a REST API and there's a gRPC. So what is the difference? What are the advantages? We will see. We will also see how to develop a gRPC simple basic app with the help of Google Gemini AI, and we will also do manual testing and then the automation testing. So first let us understand the differences or the advantages. So REST, we will see in the REST we have data formats like JSON, XML, and in gRPC it's a protocol buffers. API design, REST uses resource-oriented design, and it is more of a modeled as remote procedure call RPC. So RPC and gRPC. gRPC is Google RPC, remote procedure call. There is a streaming simple request response based, and here it supports streaming use cases like server to client bidirectional. So bidirectional thing is important here. Performance is better than REST. It is using JSON or XML parsing, and here it is using proto format. It is much more compact and efficient. It uses HTTP status codes. It has a rich set of error codes that can be handled, and so on. So there are a lot of advantages of gRPC. That's why we will see one sample implementation and manual testing and automation testing. So let's get started. So I had not much idea about this. So I discussed with a Google Gemini prompt, and then step by step I discussed like what are the things I need to consider while developing a simple app. Uh, what are the code stack I can use and so on. So then I came up with an example of little distributed microservices. So there is a microservice for ride booking, for example, for Uber and so on. So this every discussion, all the discussion link is there on my GitHub page. So if you see, this is the link. I will provide every link and everything in the description of the video. So I have designed this app. So it is a Google Gemini AI based simple RPC app. The API backend stack is also developed and consulted with Gemini, and that is using Python. Postman collection is there, and automation also using Python. In automation, we have considered simple positive negative scenarios, right? So this link, everything I will give you in the description. Now this discussion with Gemini, so that link is also available here. AI prompt gRPC. Yeah, so the all discussion whatever I have discussed with Gemini, that everything is available here. So let us see the Gemini part first. So I just gave him a basic idea, like I want to design a gRPC system, and give me one example and how can I go for it. So right, it has given me some description and all. Then based on the input, let's design a Docker based system, and it will have. So I had a simple idea. So gRPC is basically an entry point service, and then there will be some slave services which will talk to this, which will be communicated via this main service. So entry point one is the first service, and this service will talk to identity one, payment one, and routing one service, and there are some steps. Okay. um, so what every service will do, so let us see that in this diagram. Yeah, so this is the overall picture, and let's get started. So at the core we have a gRPC based microservice. Entry point one, all are having docker, it's all docker based. So export exposed on port 50051, and these are the slave services: identity one, payment one, and routing one. So user will call a method called as create ride. So this is create RIDE, and it will so when you are booking a ride on Uber, let's say you have to give the username and the source and destination and the amount. Okay, keep it very simple. Now this will be hit to this microservice, and this will internally talk to three microservices. So microservice identity one will check if the username, for now it will just simply check whether the username has a number in it. Okay, it should be alphabetical only. Then the payment service will check whether the amount is non-zero. Very simple. And the routing service will check whether the source and destination is same or not. If it is not same, then okay. If it is same, then it will return an error. right? So identity will check if it is a, if the username is having number, it should be alphabetical, otherwise it will return 400, else 200. Then payment non-zero, success, and if it is zero, then give an error. Same thing for routing, if the source and destination is same, then it will give error, otherwise it will be okay, right? So this is how the communication will happen. And yeah, here the backend development prompt, that link is also available here. You can, this entire communication is there in this link, you can go and check. Everything is developed from scratch, and it is simply using the conversational AI with Google Gemini, right? So right, booking system Uber, so same thing what I explained. So entry point service, identity one service, payment service, and routing service. And uh, Docker steps are also given. Okay, so let's see the same thing here, and it gave me the code also. So in gRPC, like in REST service, we have the Swagger file or the YAML file where it will define the API request response endpoints, and so on. So in gRPC, we have the something called as dot proto file. So it's basically a protocol. So currently it is named as service dot proto, and these are the simple stuff. So create a service, write service, and then this is a call or a method, and it will take parameters, for example username, amount, source, and destination. So four parameters, one, two, three, four, and these two are string, and these three are string, and this amount is only integer. And in response, it will return one message only. Okay, in that message, it can be a JSON message, right? So then we have the main.py file. So this photo structure I will explain. So if I go here, if you go to dev, so for every um, microservice there is a separate folder, so let's go into it. So entry point one is the main service gRPC. There is a docker file main.py, requirement txt, and service.proto. Okay, so we'll see those files one by one here in the code, right? So this is how the code is. So main.py, so this is basically the Python service where it will get the request parameters and the context, and it will call the identity, payment, or routing service. Okay, right. Okay, okay, individual service calls are there, right? Again, it's very simple. So the task is call identity, then call payment, and then call routing once you get the request. So that is one thing. Then this code is also available in GitHub. Then we'll go to docker file. So docker file, it's a common thing, just that the it is based on Python, and you need to install Python, run the requirement.txt when it is going to build the docker image. Right now, same thing for identity. So for identity service, there is a main.py file. Again, some basic stuff. It's all again Python Flask framework and simple REST API. It is also running on the port 5001 and so on, and then the Docker file. Now same thing. There is a structure. So in the identity service, whether the username is alphanumeric or not, that only is being validated. Other things we can validate later, and there is a logging also. Like if it is success, it is success 0 and fail 1. Okay, like this. There are loggings available. So that is one thing. So same thing for payment service and same thing for routing service. So let's close this. Now coming to the Docker Compose file. So Docker Compose file will go to every folder, and it will make a build and expose it on different ports. Remember, these are the internal ports. So as an end user, we need to just use this port, but this microservice will internally talk to these three on different ports. Okay, now so the basic code is there. Let's go back to Gemini. Basic code is there. It has also given the Docker and other things. Same thing I've copied. So execution step. So this is important. In the entry point one folder, I have to run this command, Python minus m gRPC tool and so on, to generate the gRPC code. So this will generate two more extra files. I will show you here. So these are the extra files called as service pb2 and service pb2 gRPC. So these files will be generated. This is again which directly is not available. You have to run the command from the command line. Okay, these are the commands. Okay, so after that the additional file will be generated. Okay, then I have to use the docker compose build. So docker compose build was giving some error because there was no proper folder structure given. So that was corrected now. So now there should be a docker file in every folder, every sub service or slave service, and requirement .txt also should be there. If you see here, there's a requirement.txt in every folder. So this everything is available in the GitHub, right? So after that it was giving an error. So our folder structure is corrected and all the latest libraries are used. Now what happened is, earlier when the code was developed in the min.py, so earlier I only took the happy path, that if there is a success, then the means or the entry point service will always return 200, okay, and a fixed response. But then if something fails, then also it was also giving the same response. So that is not correct. So I asked Gemini to modify the code, that individual, if service fails, okay, if identity service fails, then you have to give 400. Same thing for payment API, failure 400, and routing API, failure 400. So then it modified the code. Okay, modified the code for entry point one main.py, and the same thing is available here. That is the latest code. Now, okay, it also suggested me even automation then and there, but I said okay, or automation I'll take it later. So yeah, so automation, before that we will do a manual testing. Fine. So this the generation part is fine, the coding part is fine. Now let us run the code. So as you see, this is a docker based system. So I am running a docker locally, and currently there is no image, there is no container. So we'll start from fresh. So I'll go to the development code, you go to command prompt, and I will set docker compose, docker hyphen compose space up space minus minus build. So it will download the binaries, the Python basic Docker from Docker Hub, and it will build it, and we will see here by the time. So yeah, 4 images are downloaded for every individual service, and there should be a container running. Okay, so container is also up and running, right? Okay, so we can see there is uh, sufficient logging is available. So what we'll do, we will do a manual testing. So for manual testing, we would need the proto file. So that proto file is available in the QA folder, or you can take it from here. So this is the service.proto file. Okay, for now it is very simple. This service we already explained, right? Okay, so this you need to import in your Postman. So Postman collection link is also given in the GitHub. You can just import the collection. So what happens is, we need to have the collection. This is a create write method, a gRPC method. Now it is running on 127. Okay, so my server URL should be 127. Okay, so this is correct. Right, now first thing, so this is similar to REST but not exactly same. So first thing what you have to do, you have to import the proto file. So here, if you remember correctly, so I will go here and click on new, and it is not a simple HTTP, it's a gRPC. So you need to click on gRPC and then import the proto file, service.proto file. That is from here, service.proto. So once you import this, it will automatically tell you there is a create write method available, and first you have to refresh. Okay, and then you have to click on message, and now you have to choose which service you have to call. Let's say create write, and there is a some data available. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us see the logs as well as the postman hit at the same time. Okay, now what I'm doing, one API I'm calling and it is having some data. So amount should be non-negative. Okay, source and destination. So source I will take it as home, and destination I'll take it as office, and username is Sam, which is again there is no number in it. So hit okay. So if you hit it, then we should see the success response. Okay, entry for write done. And if you see here, there is a logging 3 times success, and the APIs, the relevant APIs are logged. Okay, now what we will do, we will just change the amount to, or we will change the source to, let's say, office. So technically it is a string, both are string, but when it goes inside for validation, then there is a failure because we have a condition, logical condition, source and office should not be same. So invoke, right? So now we are getting an error here. Okay, and we are seeing the fail 3 message. So fail 3 message is basically for the identity service, which is it is for the routing service, where it will check whether the source and destination are same. If not same, then it will give an error fail 3. So we'll see that. So there is a of routing service. So let's see the code for routing service. So for routing service mean.py, for failure we are getting fail 3. Okay, for here we'll get fail 2, and for here we'll get fail 1. So logging message you can refactor later, and so on, right? So there's a failure. Okay, now one more thing in the postman I want to show, that because postman know that there is a protofile imported, and postman in the postman in the protofile it is mentioned that there are 4 fields and there are type of each field. So if I click on this icon called as, it will basically show me a give me a random data. Click on it. So if you see the different data is generated. Okay, one more time, different data is generated. Now this I cannot use to invoke right now, because I don't see I have not handled the blank spaces in the code. So the postman job, it has done that, it has generated the string, and there's a number, but this extra details I have not handled in the code because it was a simple application, right? Now this is fine. So now let's talk about the automation code is also available here in the QA folder. Okay, basically it's just one simple Python file, and it should have the service.proto, right? So let's go to the automation, right? So in the automation again, there is some basic thing generated by Gemini. It's a Python file, so you need to have the service.proto file imported. Yeah, service file imported and some basic stuff. So this you can see later, and let us see the basic stuff. Okay, so the happy path is I have a name, amount, and source and destination. Happy path. And negative is there is a name content number, and there is a invalid amount. So amount is zero, non-zero, right? So how it is behaving. So first we will run the happy path. Okay, so we are, yeah, server response entry for write is done. Okay, so that means it's a success. Okay, now let's do a negative. So before that we will see the logs. Okay, now we will run the automation code. Okay, so it is a fail 0. Okay, because the identity contains a number. Okay, username cannot be a number, right? So same thing here, fail 0. Okay, so that means the identity service is failed. We can make it like fail for identity service, fail for entry point service, fail for payment service. We can do like that. Okay, now one more thing. Again, a negative test case where I am sending the amount as 0. So let us see. These are the last logs. automation, run. Right, so fail 2. Okay, fail 2 is for the source and destination related or the routing service related. We'll see that in the logs. Yeah, identity issue. So fail 0. Okay, right. So that is all about the gRPC system development from the development perspective and manual testing and automation. Um, yeah, entire thing is available here. So I've taken help for this from Google Gemini. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to Gemini. Yeah, proto file is also available here, and the Postman link is also available here. Okay. So for any further discussions, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.